Well, good on everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Talk. Today I have in front of me Mr. Reuben Merkman, candidate number 2 of the PLP, Progressive Labour Party. Today I'm going to start things a bit different because Mr. Merkman is more of a seasoned person when it comes
Is
to
that so?
when it comes to politics. So therefore, I saw an article on Facebook. I'm just going to read it, and then I have a question that's going to follow after.
All right, great.
I have it here on the paper. The article states, the government of St. Eustatius recently announced plans to accelerate its efforts to cash in on the tourism market and seals its promise with a 17.7 million investment. Plans to build a new pier and expand the airport have been finalized and should both be completed by 1991, according to Earl Neville Merkman. Now, I don't know if that's you exactly, or maybe it was your brother or something like that. But we can see in this year right now, 2022, they finally started with, we could say, the bay and the airport. Why do you think that it takes so long for certain things like in those aspects within government to happen?
Thank you, Mr. Jakil Pant, for having me on your program.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a pleasure to come and address the people of Statia, especially when it comes about dealing with providing facts and information about Statia and about the future where we want to go as a people.
Yeah.
You just read an article from 1991.
Yes.
At that time, my brother had passed away 3 years.
Oh, okay.
He passed away in 1988.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, there were quite some plans in an advanced stage about a container harbor for Statia.
Okay.
And that was one of the ideas that he was really pushing at that time before his death.
Yeah.
When he was a commissioner, he was pushing those plans. And even when he was outside of government, he was working with a gentleman from St. Martin by the name of Eddie Boncampo.
Okay.
Unfortunately, quite short after that, he also passed
Oh,
away.
okay.
So, he had ties with Statia, so that was one of the ideas that he had to provide something back to the country that he had ties to.
Yeah.
And the container harbor never materialized.
Okay.
Because at times in government, you have people that are very progressive.
Yeah.
And they want to see things happen.
Exactly.
Especially when you have like people with a vision for moving things further. When you move to other countries in the world, you see a lot of things that that you try to bring back to Statia.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure that's the same thing with you too. You lived in Holland for quite a number of years.
Exactly.
And certain things you would like to see happen in Statia to try to uplift the livelihood of the people on the island.
Exactly.
And I think that is one of the big problems that we have at times, that the vision of looking forward to developing this country at times seems to get stagnated.
Yeah.
And that is never a good thing. You always have, in economics, we learn that every economy, anywhere in the world, it has to be growing each year by 1 or 2, 3%.
Exactly.
Or else it's you're really regressing.
Yeah.
You know? So with that question where you asked me, it's quite surprising that I had an article from 1991. And now 30 years later, we are still struggling with the same problem.
Exactly.
So it speaks quite a mouthful.
That's what I wanted to highlight a bit, because a lot of times in politics, it is not per se to say it's the Progressive Labour Party or anything, but sometimes you notice that things take so long for something to happen.
Right.
So I said, let me ask you a question, seeing that you've been doing this for quite some time. But I also wanted to ask you, there are several different parties.
Right.
There's DP, there's CDA now, and in your time they had a lot of different parties.
A lot of different parties.
Yeah. Why PLP specifically you decided to run with?
As you know, Mr. Pant, I started out with the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
At that time, I joined the Democratic Party because coming back from Holland, most of my relatives were involved in the Democratic Party. Earl, Idris, they were both involved with the Democratic Party. So it was a natural flow for me to go into the Democratic Party. And I joined the party with the intentions of modernizing the party, and changing a lot of stuff, bringing a lot of things into the party. And we did that to some degree.
Yeah.
And after that, it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
I was because of philosophical difference at the time with Councilman Snake.
Yeah.
I was thrown out of the party. But as I said, that's water under the bridge.
Exactly.
And,
Exactly.
and sometimes I wish it had turned out different because of that, I lost quite a number of years in politics.
Yeah.
Because with the Democratic Party, I felt that we had a core of people that were really looking to do something with Stasia.
Yeah.
And when that happened, it caused me to take a step back and reevaluate myself if I really wanted to stay within politics.
Yeah.
So after that, I joined the UPC party with Councilman Tandam.
Yeah.
Because I felt that they were more modern and they were like more people that I could relate to.
Yeah.
Because at the time you had Henricus, you had Derek Simmons in the party, and those were guys that I knew pretty much all my life.
Yeah.
So it was a natural flow to go to them also.
Yeah.
And with the UPC, that didn't work out either.
Yeah.
And then myself and Derek Simmons, we joined with the government because I'm all for Stasia.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, and I didn't feel like showing down government or getting rid of government was not a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
I just wanted stability to continue.
Yeah.
That was around, I believe that was in 2014.
Yeah.
And after that, the government continued. 2014 PLP and the Merkman coalition continued.
Yeah.
And therefore, not wanting to start a new party.
I was going to ask you about that.
Not wanting to start a new party because we did explore that option.
Yeah.
And there were quite a few young people involved. But when it comes to really making the decision, the step forward to say, let's do a new party.
Yeah.
That was lacking.
Yeah.
So not wanting to be left, not feeling fulfilled in the political arena, I had to make a choice.
Yeah.
And it was going to be difficult to go back to the Democratic Party with Councilman Snake on the party when there was philosophical differences between how we saw the development of Stasia should progress.
Yeah.
So it was logical for me then at the time that Charles was in the PLP at that time, and coming out of a governing agreement with them, that we wanted to continue what we started.
Yeah.
So it was logical for me to migrate toward the PLP.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because some of the plans that they also had were my plans.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to push my plans, then I needed to be there to push my plan.
So everything just lined up perfectly.
Well, I would say everything lined up perfectly. I have to agree.
Yeah.
So I moved over to the PLP, and in the situation that we were in, it was very important that we at least try to get a majority.
Yeah.
And so that we could govern.
Yeah.
And continue what we started. And that happened also.
Yeah.
And unfortunately in that phase, you had the state secretary came in, Knops.
I was going to ask you about that.
And when that happened,
yeah.
When I heard that after the elections in Holland, and we found out who was going to be the state secretary after, they took approximately 8-9 months to form a government. And when the government was formed and I heard that this was a military man coming in, I told my coalition, guys, this is not going to be the same. Because you had Plaster, where he was more lenient and more open-minded to the islands, coming with their own opinions and coming with proposals. I told him, that is not how a military man thinks. He has a goal, and he has his orders. As they would say in the military, he has his marching orders. And that's what he's going to carry out. And so it turned out also, because in our first meeting with him, he said, this little small guy came in, Knops. Short guy came in. And by when he started to speak, I just shake my head and I say, boy, this is not going to go good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he basically laid down the law.
Yeah.
This is the way it's going to be. If you don't like it, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And from the time he said that, I closed my book.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything else to say because what am I going to say?
Exactly. Exactly.
And a couple months after that, around that time, Van Putten had made a statement that there's going to be blood in the streets and all of that.
I remember that.
You know, and which was unfortunate and unnecessary statement.
Yeah, yeah.
And when that happened, I knew that there were going to be consequences.
Yeah.
So it's not about this intervention was not about financial mismanagement or whatever, because that was never proven.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was about the statement that was made.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And today, 5 years later, we still have the same issues on the island when it comes to financial mismanagement.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and questions about corruption.
Yeah.
Those are still very prominent on the island.
Yeah.
You know, so. But the only how we're going to get out of that is when station people decide, listen, this is our island. We wanted to develop in the way we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And the DP, the PLP, and the CDA say, listen, after we fight, and after the election, all of us got to put our head in one direction.
Exactly.
That when we go and we negotiate with Holland, that we have a united front.
Yeah.
If that's not the case,
Nothing
Holland is always going to divide.
Yeah.
They're going to divide us.
Mm-hmm.
Because as that they are masters in that.
Yeah.
They have been doing that for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of potential on this little small island, because if you speak to anyone from any one of the neighboring islands, they are shocked with the economic development that has not taken place over the years in Statia.
Yeah.
Because if you look at St. Kitts, Statia used to be better off than St. Kitts.
That's true.
Statia used to be better off than St. Martin.
Yeah.
You know, and all of them have moved us by.
Yeah.
And that is something that I feel that with the plans that are there, plans that the vision that I have, I can not I, because I you can't do it alone.
Yeah.
But I feel the possibilities are there, the potential is there to remedy that with much of the resources that we have on the station.
Yeah. I see speaking about finances, you could let me know if it's true or not, because I ain't so well versed in the political space. But station only accounts for 9% of the budget. So the rest 91% is more like subsidies and stuff like that. How you can go about increasing that, making station more sustainable for itself?
Well, that's a very interesting question, Mr. Pan.
Yeah.
Because if you look around in Statia, there hasn't really been much economic value being created on the island.
Yeah.
Most of what is being created is like improvements relating to infrastructure that is in the long run is going to cost you money. Yeah. It's not going to really generate more money. Yeah. And our tourism product is not complete. No. There's a lot of investment needs to be done if we want a complete tourism product. Yeah. And for us to be able to increase our island budget, island revenue, we have to get more economic investment on Statia. Yeah. And when I'm talking about economic investment, I'm talking about hotels, industries, companies come into Statia where all people can work, because a lot of government taxes, that's how money is generated in the government coffers. Yeah. And it's not going to happen by roads. Exactly. It's not going to happen with roads. Yeah. Because a concrete example would be if you have tourists coming from St. Kitts. Let's say a tourist comes to St. Kitts and he says, okay, I'm going to take an excursion to Statia. Yeah. You know, he pays money to come to Statia. He pays harbor tax. Yeah. Whatever he pays at the harbor comes into the coffers. Yeah. That's the way government will increase. Yeah, yeah. Just by tourism. Exactly. Just by more tourists coming to the island. Exactly. I'm giving an example of one. Yeah. But let's say like in a week you have 500. Yeah. And let's say they paying $10 to come in. That's $5,000. Exactly. Yeah. Times 50. Yeah. That's like $250,000 added to your budget just by him coming to the island.
Exactly.
And of course, let's say he spends a day. He pays, he goes by a hotel, he spends money, he goes by the shop, he takes a car rental.
Mm-hmm.
All of those is where government gets a little income off of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but when you have a company on station, let's say let's look at one of the recent examples that we have of a new hotel on the island.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of guys that are working there. I would venture to say that is probably one of the two employment companies on island.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because when you in the morning, if you stand on the road to the back of the mountain, if you want to get there, if you are coming from the back, you got to wait on a lot of traffic.
Exactly.
Around 7 o'clock when everybody's going out of work.
Yeah, that's true.
So that in itself already, with this project being there, already is generating a lot of money into our economy.
Yeah.
And those are things that we need to promote. We need a lot more of that.
We
need a lot more of that.
But how did something like that come into place?
Well, to tell you the truth, Jackie, it was around 2015, 2016 when I was approached by Winston Tia and Richinal Tia. And they said, listen, there's an investor on the island and he's interested in building a hotel. Yeah. And he wants to be brought into contact with people that are progressive, looking to develop Stasia. Yeah. And we organized a meeting with him at Knipinga, and he showed me all the plans that he had. And right away, I saw the vision that he had. Yeah. And right away, I caught the fever. Yeah. And after that, we were in constant contact because he was having a lot of difficulty to get permits organized, regulated, and stuff like that. So whenever he had an issue, if he calls me with an issue, then I would, as an island council member, I would try to push that as much as possible. Make phone calls, whatever, and keep him up to date. Exactly. And in that way, the investor was able to get information. And also purchase the property over at in that area. On the other side of Knipinga. At the time when he started looking for property, because he was looking for property to buy. When he bought that property, I had no idea that Stasia could look like that. I too. Because boy, that area has blossomed because of the care it received. And the knowledge that the persons them have that landscape the area. Exactly. And it's pretty. When you come in the gate and you continue going to your right, and you see what they have done with the amount of rocks there. I've never seen anything like that. Exactly. And some of the plans that we had at the time did not really materialize because they were looking to build also a yacht marina. Which was one of my babies, and I still believe that Stasia needs a marina, a yacht marina, to really get the amount of tourists that could come to this country. Because every yacht that comes to Stasia, they pay a fee to dock. And to be in our harbor by the day or whatever. Exactly. Because I recently went to St. Martin and we went into the lagoon. And before you go into the lagoon, you have to pay. You have to pay. So the same thing if you have a little marina. Well, we have a space in front that we can create a marina. If we can create that marina and the boats can come and dock there, it would be a great boost to our economy.
Because the amount of boats that pass too.
Not only the boats alone. There's other things that are going to happen. Let's say somebody can start a business. It would be an incentive for local people to start business also. Because you have like the fueling. The yachts, they got to buy fuel. Exactly. And when the yacht come, most of them, they use fresh water to wash off the salt off the ship. So that also you can sell.
Exactly.
So, there's possibilities for locals also to invest.
Yeah, exactly.
And some of the yachts, they might need a little renovation or whatever.
Yeah.
That is also possible.
Yeah.
So a marina brings a lot with it.
So it's all about creating opportunities for also the local persons also.
Right. And that's the thing. That's the thing with me. I like to create opportunities for local people, and especially young people. So that they can use that opportunity to build themselves, and by them building themselves, they also build station. Because the marina that they wanted to create was going to be in the sea, and on the eastern side of the island. It's going to be, but on the eastern side we have the Atlantic, and there's a lot of corals and reefs on that side. So they were not able to acquire the permit to do anything in the water.
Exactly.
Which, and at the time, it was a disappointment, but I understood. Because those corals and reefs have been there for years.
Exactly.
And if you destroy them, there's no guarantee where they're going to come back. And within short, they're not going to come back.
Exactly.
One of the things that was proposed was that they were thinking about moving the corals. But that's where I learned that there are different streams. Currents under the sea. That if you move the coral and you put it in a different area where it doesn't have the same streaming under the water, that the coral might die anyway. So, and I also felt that was too big of a risk to give investor permission to build a marina in the back of there. So I'm good with it. I'm good with it because out of that, what we actually intended to come didn't come. But what we have is still a very perfect location, perfect hotel. Because in conversations with parliamentarians from other islands, like say, for example, in my travels, like to the Netherlands, you would put up some parliamentarians from St. Martin Island, Council members from Sable, and they would be talking about is, boy, here I got a new hotel over at Station. I really got to come over and check that out. Just now, I'm going to take over all the tourists, And I mean, that hotel that you have there, I've stayed in quite a number of hotels in the Antilles and in throughout the Caribbean, and that for me is one of the top of the line hotels. Top of the line. When you look at what you have, the room is beautiful. The grounds are magnifique.
That's for sure.
So,
that's for sure.
And I fully believe that that's the way we have to develop. We don't need mass tourism on Stasia. We need to create our own little niche. Where somebody comes to the station, they want to come back. Not that we have a lot kind of tourists flooding through here. I don't believe in that. I feel we need to have our own special tourists, whether we're talking about ecotourism, where we have a lot of nature. Because we don't have no big shopping malls to attract them. We don't have any big time nightlife. We have nature. And stations are a quiet place. And I think most stations wanted to develop, but also want to keep a great deal of peacefulness. A sort of serenity around the island. And that is also my goal. Because I don't put my wishes or my goals, whatever goals I have, is subservient to what the station goal is that I feel that from the station people. And the station people want to have it in that way. So whatever I feel, if I was some person that wanted a lot of glitz and glamour, I still wouldn't be in politics. Because then that is what I would be promoting.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to promote glitz and glamour for station because I don't think it's the best way to go.
No.
If I look at what is going on in St. Kitts, what is going on in St. Martin, there's a lot of crime. And I think as long as I feel that as long as we can avoid that, we're going to be pretty good.
That's for sure.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And now that we're talking about businesses, for example, let me say if you're a person coming back from the Netherlands or wherever, you're coming back from studying and you want to start a business and stuff like that. I don't feel as though there's much incentives in place to help persons that want to start business. Some people lucky and their business is like something like me, with a service base,
Right.
with a little camera. You just need to do a few stuff. But let's say you want to do a restaurant or you want to do something that involves equipment. There's no type of incentives in place in order to help those persons. What can be done to help people like that?
Mr. Bunt, normally I would answer that question, agree,
Yeah,
and leave it there.
yeah.
But because I've also experienced that.
Yeah,
When I came back from Holland in 2006,
yeah,
I just spent 5 years in Holland and just finished school and came back to Statia, say, you know what, this is it.
yeah,
I'm coming to Statia. I want to set up myself, start a little business,
yeah,
and, go from there.
yeah,
And try to employ one or two people.
yeah,
Try to provide a possibility for Statia, for a couple of people to just gain a living
yeah,
by what I was trying to bring into the island.
yeah,
And I approached the Windward Island Bank at the time,
yeah,
which was pretty much one of the banks that was operating. You had First Caribbean Bank, but Windward Islands Bank was one of the, you would say, the local bank.
yeah, yeah,
And it didn't go too well
yeah,
because we wanted to start a business, and I can say what a business. It was a bakery.
yeah,
We already had a location chosen out,
yeah,
and we didn't get a response from the government at that time.
yeah,
We approached the government about this empty building
yeah,
that was there, that we wanted to fix it up and start a bakery,
yeah,
a real, like a Dutch bakery.
yeah. Okay, okay, okay.
Selling touches
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and broth and
Yeah.
all those type of things. And no response
Yeah,
from the government relating to the building,
yeah,
which was fine.
yeah,
So then we approached Windward Island Bank to see if we could have gotten a loan.
yeah,
At that time, I'm a teacher working, making a relatively decent salary. My wife also was working in 2007, 2008 when we was in this process
yeah,
as a teacher, and no response from
Yeah.
Windward Island Bank either for months.
yeah,
So we decided, listen, let's go to St. Martin and make an appointment in St. Martin. And we made an appointment in St. Martin, delivered our plan, showed her what we wanted to do, and we came back to Stasia, no answer.
Huh.
So we said, maybe it's
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
it's us.
yeah,
Or the venture that we wanted to do, maybe that's the problem.
yeah,
So we started in 2008, 2009. We said, let's try to since at that time you had a lot of the medical school was still
Yeah.
around.
Mhm.
So we said, let's try to tap into that market where we would start an apartment complex,
Yeah.
catering towards medical students.
yeah,
And we made a drawing, came up with a drawing, everything, and plan. Turn it in by the bank here. They said, no, you all need to have X input,
yeah,
the input. So we felt that was a lot of money.
yeah, yeah,
And so we still went ahead of the plan, but then it was denied.
yeah, yeah,
To make it a long story short, it was denied,
yeah,
but we didn't give up.
yeah, yeah.
We said, you know what, let's go St. Martin again.
Mhm.
We went to St. Martin. We had an appointment at the branch. At that time, it was where Grand Marché was, Carrefour.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right here, it was there. And we met with a lady and explained our plans and asked for salary slips. We delivered all the information, all the documentation, and that's where it stayed. And we would be calling, say, no, we haven't made a decision yet. Then when you look, the individual that you met moved on.
yeah.
So
Now you have to start back over again.
Start over again.
Yeah,
Years after, that was 10 years after.
yeah,
Still have the same plan, but now the medical school gone.
yeah,
So that means that our potential supply was not there anymore.
yeah, exactly.
So we had to, but there was still a need on Statia for housing.
Yeah,
So we said, let's try to do something. Let's try to get that plan off the ground.
yeah,
And how we were successful in getting out of the ground, one acquaintance of ours
yeah,
introduced us to a representative from Maduro and Courtiers Bank.
yeah,
That was also over Windward Islands Bank.
yeah,
And we had a meeting with him, and he was quite surprised that we weren't able to secure a loan based on the fact that we were 2 teachers
Yeah.
and in full-time employed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, okay, you know what? I will bring you into contact with somebody in St. Martin that is open-minded.
Yeah.
And he did that.
Yeah.
And he stuck to his word. And 1 December, when my daughter was going to the States to orientate herself because she was graduating, and my wife and her went to St. Martin. I wasn't even there.
Yeah.
They went to St. Martin. They had a meeting with this lady. And when my wife came out, she called me on the phone and she said, Reuben, it isn't who you are. It's who you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's who you know.
Exactly.
We can have the money in a month time.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And this is for the building of the apartment complex.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
that was the start of that.
Yeah.
And we started working on it, and about 5 months later, we actually started with the project.
Yeah.
And the project at that was built by my brother Calvin. At that time, it took him about approximately a year to complete the project.
Yeah.
Which was fine. And we have I'm quite proud of what he has created there in Dubrow.
Yeah.
Because it is far beyond my wildest expectations.
Exactly.
I have a apartment complex that it has about 6 apartments.
Yeah.
And thank God, up to now, I must give God the praise that it's going pretty good.
Yeah.
It has also given us the opportunity to do other things.
Yeah.
And in Statia, it is still our goal to do something that would generate more employment for Statia people.
Exactly.
For Statia people, young Statia people.
Exactly.
But getting back to what you asked me, Mr. Pant, that illustration, I hope I've shown that it's difficult.
Yeah.
And one of the plans of the PLP is that we want to create a development bank for Statia.
Yeah, which is very much needed.
Yes, which is very much needed, because a lot of Statia people have ideas that they would like to start a business. And when you look at any economy in the world, what drives that is small businesses.
Yeah.
Small businesses drives any economy.
Exactly.
And that means that if somebody wants to start a little car rental, somebody wants to start a little restaurant, they go to the development bank.
Yeah.
And Statia needs more restaurants, specifically restaurants that with like maybe specialities.
Yeah.
A little Italian restaurant, a little Greek restaurant, a little Indian restaurant.
Exactly.
Because with tourism, that's going to be the big need.
Yeah.
And if you get a development bank that can give somebody a $50,000 or $75,000, that can go a long way.
Yeah, a real long way. Seeing that you bring it back to tourism, something that's usually talked about, usually around voting time and stuff like that. They usually talk about the racetrack.
Yeah.
That's a very hot topic. For a long time, from how I understand it, there's been asking and requesting for a racetrack. I don't know how everything is behind the scenes and stuff like that, but why do you think it never came to fruition?
I think most of the people that were there didn't really put in the time and the effort into realizing the as a government to realize the possibility of a racetrack.
Yeah.
And also, one of the faults I think that they were was the foundation itself.
Yeah.
They were in flux.
Yeah.
You would have a lot of strife, a lot of hair pulling and all of that there.
Yeah.
And when you're not organized, the government is not going to come in and organize anything for you.
Exactly.
You have to
Which
do
is
that
expected.
yourself. So now I think they have a better organization. And you see that also in the product that they're able to deliver.
Exactly.
Because if you look at what they have been able to deliver in the 2 last races specifically, it's I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And it has opened the eyes of a lot of people.
Yeah.
the amount of people that was on the island that you weren't able to even get an apartment.
Exactly.
Hotel rooms were done.
Yes.
And,
Exactly.
and apartments were being sought.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if they can do that, then I think it only behooves the government to get involved, which they have done.
Yeah.
Because now I know they had meetings with the stakeholders.
Yeah.
And they have decided that for the coming period, they're going to be using the raceway, the race road,
Yeah.
as with a Khodok Belay.
Yeah.
So that means that it would be allowed and sanctioned by and try to get more security in place, live up to more regulations, and they would also get an opportunity to put more fixed protections in the area.
Okay.
And also they're looking at the possibility of a road
Yeah.
in the back.
Yeah.
So that when they have the race day, when they have the race, sometimes when they have the race day, the inhabitants that live on that side, Selandia, or you wanted to go Selandia,
Exactly. Yeah.
you were not allowed to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is going to be alleviated.
Yeah.
That now that's going to be solved.
Yeah.
That they're going to create a back road so you can go in the race. The races can continue without any issues relating to the inhabitants or of Statia being able to get on that side of the island.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing, and it's also going to be more structured.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
That is a very powerful thing, because when you look at what the Racetrack has generated for the island in terms of hotel rooms, the income that has been generated because of hotel rooms.
Because you couldn't find nowhere.
You couldn't find hotel rooms nowhere. Even though if they had hotel room like for 10,000, I think they would have gone to.
For sure. I think so too.
Even car rentals.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of car rentals over that weekend.
Exactly.
And I'm sure the supermarkets also was also full.
Yeah.
There's more people on the island, more people need to eat.
Exactly.
And restaurants, if they had more restaurants, I mean, people were looking for food all over that.
Yeah.
And I can attest to that, because we were also looking for food, and it was like, boy, things ain't going so easy.
Yeah.
A lot of food is out.
Exactly.
So, but I say one, say two. I think they also have to get on a calendar.
Yeah.
If you have a calendar, whether it's a Caribbean way racing calendar, and you get on that, and everybody know that, like, say 3 times a year you can come to station and race.
Yeah.
I think they can go a long way.
Exactly.
With the product that they are giving us.
Exactly.
Because I understood that there was a gentleman here from the States.
Yeah.
And he raced here, and he enjoyed himself to the max.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And word of mouth public promotion, you can't beat that.
No.
Can't beat that.
At all.
And he's also in the race circles. So I expect it to get bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know how big it can become, because I ride bike.
Yeah.
And I don't know how big it can become.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people in this world that like to race and ride bike.
Exactly.
And if they want to come to Statia, you're very much welcome.
Exactly.
Because we need the dollars.
Yeah. I have another question, but it take a turn a little bit.
Yeah.
On the Statia. Statia, when you go to certain supermarkets, you might go this week. Something is this price, you go to next week, the price is a whole different situation. Price control. Is that something does be the responsibility of government, or that's something else that has to get put in place in order to properly do price control on the island?
Well, one of the things that you have is that in the Dutch system, you don't really have price control.
Oh, okay.
What they have done in Bonaire, and so they have like a basket of goods.
Yeah.
And then they give you, they say these basket of goods is what we're gonna put a price on, that a maximum price.
Yeah.
So so the price control, they say it inhibits the free market working.
Yeah.
But they just give you a maximum that you have to price your goods within.
Yeah.
But I do feel that in the day that we are living in,
Mm-hmm.
we need to have price control.
Yeah.
Because the prices are crazy. But I mean, it's not only Statia, it's worldwide.
Yeah.
Because when you go to St. Martin, you also realize that a lot of things are more expensive.
Exactly.
When you go to Holland, a lot of things are more expensive.
Yeah.
And the way to combat that is that we need to start producing things or locally.
Yeah, exactly.
If we can get a lot of stuff locally, and it will also change our diet
Yeah,
for the better,
exactly.
because we are consuming a lot of refined foods.
Yeah,
And refined foods is what gives us a lot of diseases.
yeah,
If we can start creating vegetables on this island, because when you look at the vegetables that grow here and those from overseas, if you put a vegetable down after two days, probably your seeds start to water.
yeah,
When you can leave a vegetable from station for nearly a week,
Yeah.
and it still has a lot of fiber in
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
and you don't
yeah.
get this watery thing.
yeah, yeah.
You know, so I think in order for us to combat the prices of goods on station, we need to start doing a lot more locally,
Yeah.
and providing incentive that more people could go into farming.
Yeah,
And we also have to realize, after buying change, we got to buy locally
yeah,
to
yeah,
keep them
yeah,
to
yeah.
keep
That's
them
true.
running. You know?
That's true. That's
Because there's
true.
a lot of things that are available now on station,
Yeah.
but we just don't buy them.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, and long time ago, I know when you used to have market, but it was down by, you used to have market at that time down by where Dunkridge shop was on
Yeah.
the side there, where I think Belkis live now. They had a little market there. Used to sell stuff.
yeah,
Station people used to go
Yeah.
to support that. But because of the way we have learned to live, everything we go into the supermarket and buying from overseas, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
We need to get back to that.
exactly.
Buying watermelon, pumpkin, and those things,
Yeah.
and eating those. Even the sweet potato got to come back.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
yam.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
things we need in our diet to keep us healthy.
Exactly.
You know, but yeah. But I mean, saying that locally, I also have looked, and I think there's a other way
Yeah,
of reducing the
Yeah.
prices on this in station, which would mean, like, say for example, we have to try to get food,
yeah,
at least to bring down the price from an area where it's cheaper than where you're getting them now.
yeah.
If you buying in Miami has become expensive, then let's go someplace else.
Exactly.
To
exactly.
buy the goods might be a little different,
Yeah,
but they're going to be cheaper than what you're getting in Miami.
and eventually you won't get accustomed.
And eventually you get accustomed
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
And the prices, if you have, if you are able to purchase the goods
Yeah,
at a cheaper price, I mean, I expect the price that comes in the shop to also be cheaper.
yeah,
You know, and it doesn't have to be that you're gonna buy milk and rice alone.
Yeah.
You can also bring in fruits for
exactly.
the time being.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know, and promote your local people.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's what I think it will be, is the solution to the high prices that we have
Yeah.
now on station.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know of places where in this world where you
Which-
can get cheaper than what you're buying in Colombia.
Yeah, for sure.
So I
Wait, wait, wait.
we're buying it in Miami,
Yeah,
because most
yeah.
of our food stuff come out of Miami
Yeah.
or out of San Juan.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly. Yeah,
and let's say, for example, if you go Colombia
yeah,
and you buy in Colombia, it's a lot cheaper
yeah.
than what you get in Miami.
That's for sure.
And it's rice,
Yeah,
it's flour,
yeah.
and you can use them to do the same things that you're doing now.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
So why we don't promote that?
Yeah. So basically, you would want people to look into different avenues. in
Right.
order to-
What
yeah.
I'm saying, look into different avenues of
Yeah.
of getting their supply.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that can bring down the rate.
That's
Not
true.
because you're already accustomed to this.
Yeah,
Change is very difficult.
Yeah.
People don't like change at all. You know, so but sometimes you have to think outside the box
Yeah.
in order to help your country.
exactly.
To help your country.
Yeah, yeah.
And I believe in that.
Yeah. For people, there are a lot of people that say that I ain't even gonna bother vote, or that say statements like that. We would say to those persons that say that, okay, yeah, I don't think I feel like voting because I don't really see anything really happening. What you would say to people like that?
Boy, I've heard that statement be made many times
Yeah.
the last couple of weeks. And what I would like to say to them is, you have once in 4 years to exercise your right to vote,
Yeah,
to be able to influence what is happening on your country.
yeah,
And when you say I'm not going to vote, then you don't have a say.
yeah, yeah,
And everybody that living on station should have a say and should be interested in having a say as to how their country develops.
exactly.
You know, because when you look at it, You might have the PLP, you might have the DP, you might have the CDR. All of them pretty much has, I would say, the philosophy or the ideas of the DP and the CDI are pretty much similar.
Yeah.
And the PLP is a little different than that.
Yeah.
So based on that, you already have a choice.
Yeah.
You know, so when you stay home and you don't go out to vote, whatever you get, you can't complain.
Exactly.
You cannot complain.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
That's
you
true.
stayed home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would like to encourage everyone, go out and exercise your constitutional right to vote.
Yeah.
Because many people have fought and died
Yeah.
for we to vote.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even today, there's a lot of people in this world that can't vote, that
Exactly.
want to vote.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now you can vote and you're deciding
Yeah.
not to vote.
Exactly.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People that before I go to that, why should people vote for you specifically or for the Progressive Labour Party?
Well, when you say specifically for me, I will address that first.
Yeah.
I have been in the political arena for the last 13 years.
Yeah.
And excluding the intervention.
Yeah.
And I came into the political arena with the goal to do something for the people of Statia, and I'm talking in economic terms now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want to stay in politics all my life.
Yeah.
If I can facilitate 2, 3 economic pillars from Statia, then I will walk off in the sun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Say it was a pleasure, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't have no desire to be in politics all my life.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things that I was fortunate to be involved in the development of the Golden Rock Resort that is quickly becoming an economic pillar for
Yeah.
Statia.
Yeah.
So I would say that is one goal that I was successful in achieving.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then another thing that still on my mind is a marina.
Yeah.
I would love to see a marina come.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That I know is going to be a second pillar.
Yeah.
And then there's right now I'm in the process. We are as a island council, we have been having some discussions with some people about a metabolic cancer institute.
Yeah.
And I feel that it would be very similar as a medical school that we had.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about a medical school.
Exactly.
This metabolic cancer institute would be the same idea.
Yeah.
Whereby people would be coming to Statia to receive treatment for cancer.
Yeah.
And even the local people
Yeah.
will be able to go and receive treatment there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much a win-win society,
Yeah.
win-win type of contraption for Statia.
Yeah.
And they would be also be very involved in agriculture.
Yeah.
Because they would grow what they use.
Yeah.
And of course, the excess will be available to Statia.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So, I see that as some of the economic pillars that could be done within short.
Yeah.
And that is my goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Create quite a number of economic pillars for Statia. But the biggest economic pillar for Statia would be geothermal energy.
Yeah.
Which the possibility exists to create anywhere from 20, 30 megawatts to 50 megawatts.
Yeah.
Generating on Statia,
Yeah.
which means that you would be able to sell electricity to the neighboring islands.
Yeah. What exactly is a geothermal?
Geothermal is where you drill
Yeah.
a well
Yeah.
that taps into the magna,
Okay.
the hot
Yeah.
liquid under the ground, which
Yeah.
is water,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you use that to drive turbines and create electricity.
Yeah.
And that is a technology that is used quite frequently in Iceland.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have a big expertise in that.
Yeah.
And it's also used in the US a lot.
Okay.
It's used in Indonesia a lot.
Okay.
So it's not a new technology.
Yeah.
So but it's very expensive.
Yeah.
The startup costs and all of that is very expensive. So, that means that you would have to lobby.
Yeah.
Because right now the Dutch government is saying, listen, guys, we are promoting green.
Yeah. Sustainability.
And geothermal is green.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would, and that would be able to drive all the electricity that we need in Statia.
Yeah.
It would be too much for Statia.
Yeah.
That's why we need to export.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, when you export, you get money in return.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, I see that as a real win-win for.
I never heard about that one, so it's definitely something I'm gonna look into.
It's there, and I also have documentation, letters, correspondences relating to that.
Yeah.
Where the collectivity de Saint Martin, French side, they were here and they did a study. They did a study whether it's possible.
Yeah.
And they did. There's a well that was dug at Bengal, where it showed that the temperature, because it has to be a specific around a specific temperature, and that we have on Statia.
Yeah.
The temperature is good.
Yeah.
Some of the other countries, for example, Sabre has that type of thing too.
Yeah.
But the difference between Statia and Sabre is that Sabre is under the sea.
Yeah.
They would have to drill a well in the sea.
Oh,
but we have it on
okay.
land.
Yeah, yeah.
So we don't have that difficulty.
Yeah.
When you're drilling in water, there's a lot of difficulty.
Yeah, exactly.
Comes with that.
Yeah.
We don't have that. We have it right on land, and and there have been many wells dug on Statia where they had to close it.
Yeah.
Because the water was too hot.
Okay, I did.
Oh,
yes,
sir.
Okay.
Talk with if you speak with some of the older heads.
Yeah.
They will tell you that.
Okay.
But there's one at Bengal I know specifically where with the French company that came here.
Yeah.
And they were involved with the French government, the EU, French government.
Yeah.
So Holland is also part of the EU.
Yes.
So and there's a lot of organizations that give monies for these type of green projects.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is one of the things that I would like to see happen in Statia. And I think it could happen a lot quicker than a lot of people believe, because it's something that the Dutch is pushing now.
Exactly.
And over the years, in going to Holland, one of the things that we have done is that we have created a network of people that of a lot of different walks of life.
Yeah, yeah.
And some of them are also in the ministries that have knowledge and have interest in seeing Statia move forward. So you can always use your contacts, your networks that you have to get these things done.
Exactly. Because in something like that, once it's up and running, I don't think something like that will ever stop.
Well, you have the Magna, because what you're doing is you're using a closed circuit.
Yeah.
Closed.
Yeah.
So the water that comes up, you use it.
Yeah.
And it goes back into the ground.
Okay.
So it automatically the water heats back up again.
Yeah.
So it should be something that lasts a long time.
Exactly.
Could last a long time.
Exactly.
Beyond all lifespan, actually. And what many people are going to say, but you're going digging under the ground and it could cause earthquake because you used to live in Groningen or you for a time.
Yeah.
And what in Groningen, the big difference between us and Groningen is that the natural gas, they took it out of the ground.
Yeah.
And they didn't put anything back.
Yeah.
But instead, with this geothermal, you're putting the water back.
Yeah.
You're using it when it comes up. It creates steam and it goes back.
Okay.
That's all you're using to drive the turbine. So it goes back into the ground.
Yeah.
So that's why we call it a closed system.
Yeah.
It closed.
So it's not like you're taking it and going with it.
It's not evaporating.
Yeah.
It's not evaporating. So that's the good thing about it.
Yeah.
So when the potential of really creating earthquakes and stuff like that, that's not, or trillingen, as they would say in Groningen, that's absent. So that's why I've done a lot of reading on it.
I was just gonna say I've
done a lot of reading.
You really research it.
Yeah. And when I saw that, based on it, because when they came, when these people came and started talking about geothermal, I was quite apprehensive because I was saying, but look at what happened in Groningen. I don't want to put that stress on my people.
Exactly.
So I did a lot of reading on it, and I also looked at countries that are involved in this, and they don't have that feature.
Yeah.
There's the trillingen and the earthquake that is not present.
Exactly.
So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Based on what I've read and what I've researched, I think it's a good thing for Statia because that's one of the few natural resources that we have.
Exactly.
That can generate huge amount of windfall for the government and for whoever creates that.
Exactly.
And if you create an electrical company, it would also drive down the cost of living on Statia.
because that's one of the highest
Yeah.
costs. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the highest costs is our electricity
Yeah,
bill.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if you
yeah.
can drive that down, more power to
Yeah,
us.
yeah. Did two podcasts before, and both of them mentioned your name. Growing up, what was a person that one or two persons that you looked up to growing up that inspired you to become the person you is?
I think I got my hard work because anything I want, Mr. Pat,
Yeah,
I work for it.
yeah,
So if I want the geothermal energy electrical plant, I am prepared to work for
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
And I got the hard work from seeing my father
yeah,
work.
yeah,
He worked with Sonny Boy, Dan,
yeah,
Carol, and those guys. Those guys worked. I mean,
yeah,
and and that's where I saw those guys working so hard, and I said, boy, those guys working hard. And when they working digging cistern
yeah,
with just a shovel, we
Yeah.
didn't have any loader, any backhoe, and those guys just digging that. And my father and those guys would make blocks.
yeah,
Dan, Carol, Sonny Boy,
Yeah.
those guys just work.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So I look, and that's where I got my hard work from. And one of the guys that I was looked up to was my brother, my older brother,
yeah,
because he along with Esmond
Yeah.
and Fong,
yeah,
they brought basketball to Stacia.
yeah, yeah.
They started basketball competition on Stacia, along with Nurse Pantaflet and Ruth and Milva.
Yeah.
They were very instrumental in bringing basketball, and I was involved as a young man. He went to Aruba before me, and so he paved the way for me to go to Aruba.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when I started basketball, I also looked up to Koki Tolentino.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
Koki was the baddest basketball player that ever walked here on Stacia.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah,
I know him from baseball. Now.
Yeah, but he also played baseball and
Yeah.
he trained baseball.
Yeah.
And that's also where I also used to do a lot of training.
Yeah.
When I came back from school as a youth, actually with like 18, 19 years,
Yeah.
I was already training in my free time.
Yeah.
Training teams, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Koki taught me a lot
Yeah.
when it came to playing sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because boy, this man could shoot. And he was 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
He could rebound, he could do everything. He could
Yeah.
dribble, he could do everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I really respected him for that. And at the time, I didn't know much about him, but over the years, I've read some, did some research on him, and I found out that before he came to Stacia, he was already an elite player
Yeah.
in Santo Domingo.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when he come into Stacia, and he made here his home.
Yeah.
So that tells me that what we have, a lot of people outside don't have.
Yeah.
And when they come here, they find something that they love about Stacia.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because Koki keeps coming back.
Exactly.
And he even built a home here.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
That was that was few of some of the people that I really looked up to.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
outside of I love sport to death.
Yeah.
Any kind of sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are the people that were really instrumental in keeping me out of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I find sport is a good socializing tool and to keep you out of problems.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because
exactly.
it gives you a constructive way of dedicating your time, your
Yeah.
free time.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it
Exactly.
also now we have a couple of guys that have really dedicated themselves to baseball.
Yeah.
And they get an opportunity to go a little further.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I'm happy to see.
Yes,
Happy to
I'm
see.
glad of that.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have that.
Yeah.
And I hope that it continues.
Yeah.
And
for
more
sure.
children get the opportunity to use that vehicle to probably provide a livelihood for themselves.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Those are some of the people that really had an impact on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Socially.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course, my mother.
Yeah.
My mother was a disciplinarian in the house.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you don't behave, you get to deal with my mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
yeah.
mother wasn't easy. My mother wasn't easy.
Yeah,
brother.
yeah. Is there anything specifically you would want to leave for the people watching the podcast?
Now, since we are now in the political arena,
Yeah.
in the political time of the year, I would like to leave with the people of Stacia that please come out and vote.
Mm-hmm.
Exercise your constitutional right to vote.
Yeah.
And make a choice. don't let anyone make a choice for you. You make
Exactly.
the choice, because eventually you are deciding the direction, the vision for Stacia.
Yeah.
And if you make the right choice, if you vote for me, I will make sure that the things that I have promised you, that I will work to realize that within short.
Exactly.
Because I don't see myself having a long time in politics.
Yeah.
And within short, I would like to realize those. And I think over the years as an island council member, I've developed the network to do that.
Yeah.
You know, because up to today, somebody called me and said, listen, I have information where I'm in contact with an harbor development group
Yeah.
in the Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
You know, so those type of information you store,
Exactly.
because when the time comes, you have those that you can tap into.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even in Holland, we have already looked at the possibility of working with ports
Yeah.
to develop our port.
Yeah.
You know, and I think with what we have there, Stacia has always been a country, an island that was tied with the sea. A lot of our people went to sailing all over the world.
Yeah.
And Stacia has an ideal location when it comes to seafaring.
Yeah.
Because if you start up anywhere in the world, you can end up straight to Stacia.
Exactly.
So those are things that's another. I see that as a resource.
Yeah.
You know, a real prime resource that we haven't tapped into.
Yeah.
Because we don't really do anything with the sea.
That's true.
You know,
That's true.
But my goal is to do something, create economic pillars for Stacia.
Yeah.
And if you vote for me, I will guarantee you that within short, we would have at least 1 or 2 economic pillars thriving on Stacia.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that would mean that people would need people to work.
Yeah.
And when people have work, they can feed their families.
Exactly.
And they can also invest.
Exactly.
And create Stacia, make Stacia the place it needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we need to build up Stacia.
Yeah.
We can't expect people to come and do it for us.
Yeah.
And we have to develop it in the way that we want.
Exactly.
Nobody can stay in Holland and tell me we want to develop Stacia like this.
Yeah.
We have to stand up.
Exactly.
Stand up.
Yeah.
Stand up. And the way to stand up is by voting right.
Yeah.
And vote for PLP, because that's a party that stands up so you have proven that they're going to stand up for you and do what is right for Stacia. That's my message to the Stacia people.
So
Thank you, Mr. Jackie, for having me on your program.
Thank you for coming.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you for coming. And thanks for everybody for watching this. Don't forget to like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next episode.